This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Well, good day, everybody, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. Today is Tuesday, October the 4th, 2022. We're so glad you can join us. Coming up later on today's show, I will be talking with Kate Grief of BASF as we talk about their Liberty program. Also, we're going to take a look at that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down those markets. It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net. Well, we're at the end of another trading day, and we turn once again to Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Tyler, what did we see in the markets on Tuesday?
Saw a little upward movement in corn and soybeans today. Traded again, kind of same story as yesterday. Kind of went up and took an attempt at some highs. 698 is kind of our short-term high here in the last month on December corn. Tried to make a run of that, got to 691.5 mid-morning. It weakened throughout the rest of the day. We closed December corn at 684. That's down. That's up 3 1/4 cents on the day. The back month contracts all kind of followed suit, and they're just kind of following wherever December corn goes right at the time. November beans ended up 9 1/4 cents on the day. That's closed at 13.83 1/4. And again, kind of like corn, the back months are kind of following in the front months' footsteps. The only major grain that couldn't really see any follow-through buying was the wheat market. Came in early this morning and shot up fairly high. At one point, we were up about 20 cents, kind of softened throughout the day. Chicago December wheat closed down 7 1/4 at 904 3/4. Your December Minneapolis wheat down 6 at 974, and Kansas City, the one bright spot, closed up 1.50 cents. It kind of feels like corn wants to try to take a run at that $7 mark, possibly running into some harvest pressures. Harvest is kind of heating up all across the country, as we're hearing, and yields are coming in all over the place. So it feels like corn's just kind of treading water right now, trying to figure out if it can break through that $7 mark. Beans, kind of the same issue. Got a lot of harvest going on. I would say most of the yield reports we're hearing is better than expected. And so it's just going to be tough to have a really big rally when you've got those type of seasonal pressures at play and hearing the kind of yield reports we're getting.
Well, another thing we've been hearing too, which we understand has its effect on the markets, is the dollar's running into a little resistance last night and today. Can you talk about what impact that's having?
Yeah, the dollar has I won't say fallen apart, but we're seeing it. It's trying to push back down below 110. That's been kind of a support in here today. It's pushed down there, but we're down 1.5 points on the dollar, which has sent the equity market screaming higher. We're up 700 points in the Dow futures, 100 points in the S&P futures. If you take a look at precious metals, silver, at one point in the day was up $1 an ounce. Yesterday had a $1.50 an ounce move to the upside, which was one of the biggest daily moves that we've seen in silver, I think, since like 2007, 2008. Gold is up strong. So a lot of these outside markets are pushing higher. And that's why, I kind of alluded to, it feels like corn wants to follow suit, but it's just facing some pressures from outside markets, or from its own market, from the fundamentals of just harvest time. It's really hard to rally corn in September and October. It's trying, but those types of pressures are probably going to hold it back until it can prove that it can go over $7.
And of course, now let's look at the livestock side of the equation. How did cattle and hogs fare today?
Not quite as good. Cattle a little better than hogs. We'll tackle hogs first. December hogs were down $3.30, and a lot of times I'll get asked why hogs do what they do, and my simple answer sometimes is because they can. that was a very large move down on what a lot of people already felt was an oversold market. Really no fundamental reason for them. For that big of a move down, the cutouts really haven't changed that much. The cash hog index isn't, that December contract is trading a huge discount to the pork cutout and the hog index. So something's got to give there. That cutout and index have got to come down significantly over the next couple of months, or December futures have got to make a run up to it. I guess we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Fat cattle down about 50 cents in the December contract. Really no significant news there as far as fundamental wise. And then a feeder calf, we ended up about down $1 on the day. And, we did get some reports out of Oklahoma City midday that the USDA was calling feeder cattle going through the barns there $1 to $3 lower than last week. So that cash market in the South is, in my opinion, what's really weighing down on that feeder and fat cattle market right at the moment. So, we're going to have to see some type of movement there or cash prices pick up to really start gathering steam in those markets.
One last thing to ask you about, Tyler. Just heard it today for the first time. We obviously know that a lot of this stuff, reacts to what the Fed does. And of course, they have their meetings all the time in Jackson Hole. But someone was saying now that they may have to tone back some of their aggressive movements they've been making the last couple of months, on top of the fact that we got all this, $100+ billion worth of damage from the hurricane, and they don't want to put these people in further problems with interest rates climbing. Have you heard any of that sentiment as well?
Yes, the expectation ahead or up until the last few days was that we were going to see another 0.75 of a point rise in interest rates, probably this month or in November, and then another 0.75 point rise before the end of the year. So, another 1.5% move up in interest rates. Some of that is being toned down now because of what you just said. Also, the UN has really been calling on governments around the world to slow down the raising of interest rates because they see it have a pretty negative effect on poor countries that are importing a lot of their raw materials and food items.
Well, definitely going to be an issue we're going to have to keep an eye on over the next couple of weeks and months here. And Tyler, we thank you so much for the insight. If folks want to talk market strategies with agmarket.net, how do they get in touch?
Always recommend you check out our website, agmarket.net. We got our contact page. You can reach out to one of several brokers there. You can also sign up for our Ag Intel. And if you want to reach out to me directly, my phone number is 701-987-6009.
All right, Tyler. Well, we thank you so much for the insight, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks, Dustin.
That again was Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Let's run down those closing numbers now. That comes to us courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. December corn closed up 2 1/4 at $6.83 even. March was up 2 1/2 at $6.90 even. November beans up 9 1/2 at $13.83 1/2. January up 9 1/2 at $13.93 1/2. Soy meal was down $3.80 at $4.0150. Soy oil up $1.68 at $65.02. Chicago wheat was down 9 at $9.03 even. Minneapolis wheat down 3 3/4 at $9.76 1/4. Kansas wheat finished even at $9.88 3/4. Oats was up 2 at $4.06 1/2. On the Merc, live cattle for December down 52 cents at $147.50. October feeders down 87 cents at $174.65. October lean hogs down $1.77 at 87 even. Pork cutouts down 82 cents at 91.17. Class 3 milk 6 cents higher at 22.26. And that's been our Ag Market Recap. We're going to take a short break now and hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I talk with Kate Grief of BASF. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to AM/PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. Well, back in August, BASF held their field day, and we talked about all kinds of things that will help farmers get ready for the 2023 growing season. And one of the things we talked about was crop protection, especially with the Liberty program. I had a chance to visit with Kate Grief of BASF and here's what we had to talk about. Well, right now we're talking with Kate Grief of BASF, and we're here to talk about Liberty. Kate, thanks for taking the time to visit with us today.
Hey Dustin, how are you doing today?
Doing really well. So tell us about out here at this BASF field tour and everything we got going on the plots. Tell us what the message you're bringing about Liberty here today.
Well, Dustin, we're really excited today to talk about all of the new technologies and innovation we have coming in our Liberty pipeline going forward. So, as you may know, a lot of the agriculture community knows that the soybean systems in the market today have really changed in the last couple of years to the point where, regardless of what a farmer is planting, you likely have Liberty in your soybean trait, whether it's an XtendFlex trait, whether it's an Enlist E3 trait, or whether it's a traditional Liberty Link or Liberty Link GT27 trait. Everybody's got the option to use Liberty in their soybeans. So, great option for weed control. What we're doing going forward is just trying to improve the formulations and the options that we have coming in this franchise. So part of it is working on a higher loaded formulation. So lower use rates for people to have to load in the tank. So less time loading the sprayer, less time moving product around, really improving the overall efficiencies of managing that product. And then the other thing we're really excited to talk about today is also looking at doing residual premixes for, again, efficiency of handling, but also, I'd say, a better agronomic approach to that acre. So not only are you getting knockdown weed control, but also residual weed control for specifically those resistant pigweed type species or anything that's coming later in season.
Now, have there been any challenges with when you're looking at, taking Liberty up a notch? Has there been any challenges with the formulation as far as, maybe seeing some resistance that you wanted to step things up a little more?
So I'd say when it comes to formulation, BASF is very much focused on making sure that we have something that is at least as good as, if not better than, our current Liberty formulation. So we've got a ton of scientists working in labs to make sure that it's going to be the best formulation we have out there. From a resistance standpoint, what we see is the more modes of action you can put on that acre, the best thing that is the best thing you can do to help manage resistance. And then second to that, I would say making sure we're applying according to label directions. So right use rates, right nozzles, using the right amount of water in the tank. 3 pounds of AMS is always what we're recommending from an adjuvant standpoint. But as it comes to the formulation side of things, really more so focused on making sure that we can get that active ingredient, the glufosinate, into the weed so it can do its job well, and that's where all the surfactants in the formulation come into play.
And so you also mentioned the fact about getting better staying power, whether it's post-emergence further down the line. Talk about how important that is to have that longer length of time of carryover so that way you can keep protected throughout the season.
Yep. So the way I look at any acre is you're going to have weeds that are emerging basically from the time we're planting our crop, if not before, all the way until those soybeans canopy, and maybe even potentially after that. So getting ourselves covered from the beginning of the season all the way till the mid part of the season or the end of the season is key. Most of the herbicides we think about with weed control from a knockdown perspective don't have residual control of weeds. And the easiest weed to control is the one that hasn't come out of the ground yet. And so that's where the residual herbicides are so key to anything we're doing agronomically. So not only are we applying Liberty today with a group 15 type herbicide, so whether that's an Outlook or Residua, what we're really trying to do with these new formulations is make sure that we make it easier for people to be able to do that by having it in a premix formulation.
And what other things are you bringing to the table with Liberty? I mean, as far as I know, there's people that are worried about environmental issues and stuff. They're always going to be doing that. What kind of assurances do these people have that this is safe to use and it's not going to cause any problems?
That's a great question. So I would always say go back to look at the label for proper PPE and stewardship when it comes to applying any herbicide. But in addition to that, I would say we very much work with the EPA to follow all the regulatory protocols we need to make sure that we're providing the market something that's safe as well as effective to use.
And of course, you mentioned Outlook. I mean, obviously, any herbicide is always part of a whole plan that covers the whole year. Tell us about how Liberty plays a part in that whole season control program.
Integrated pest management, right? Yep. Integrated weed management. Base recommendation, always starting the season with a multiple mode of action pre-emerge herbicide. So at the time of planting, something in the BASF portfolio would be Zidua Pro, but anything that's going to have multiple modes of action to help control weeds at the very beginning of the season. Not only does that help prevent the weeds from emerging when the crops are coming out of the ground, but then it's giving us time to get back into that field in season for that post-application. At that point in time, when it comes to a post-application, like I said before, Liberty applied according to proper label recommendations, so the right nozzle. We highly recommend 20 gallons of water, 3 pounds of AMS in there. And so that's going to help control the weeds that are up, any water hemp or ragweed that's out of the ground. And then an Outlook Group 15 type herbicide is going to give you that residual control that'll help us get to canopy.
All right, so what do Iowa farmers need to know coming out of this as we're going into this, getting ready to go into the harvest season and getting ready for next year?
Yep, so I'd say going into harvest, make sure you're peeking out over the head of that combine. What weeds do you have on your farm? Are you seeing anything late season that emerged that maybe you didn't see throughout the growing season? And just keeping track of which weeds those are, whether it's lamb's quarter, whether it's water hemp, whether it's ragweed, because every chemistry is going to work a little bit differently on the different weed species we have out there. So I'd say keep track of what weeds you see in your farm this fall. And then I'd also say make sure you're checking for where your heavy pockets are. And utilizing, I'd say, that insight to help with a better weed control approach for next season. And then the final thing I would say is going into prepay this year, we know chemistry is going to continue to be a little bit tight going into 2023. And so having a plan and being proactive about that approach is going to be key going into the 2023 growing season.
All right, Kate, if farmers in Iowa want more information, what's the best way for them to find it?
Absolutely. So if you're looking for more information on Liberty herbicides specifically, I'd recommend yourliberty-herbicide.com or the general BASF Ag Products website.
All right, Kate, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dustin.
And that again was Kate Grief of BASF here on Ag Matters PM. Let's go ahead and run down the weather. Well, it was a clear and cool start to the day here in Des Moines, but now the sun has come out, a beautiful day. Mid-70 range, that's not too much to shake a stick at, especially when we were in the 90s just a few short weeks ago. But compared to what a normal October should look like, it's getting a little toasty. Now, a cool down is on the way, so let's see what's in store for the next 24 hours from the National Weather Service. Well, we were greeted with clear skies and some cooler temperatures to start the day here in Des Moines. And again, mostly sunny skies across a lot of the state. Now, the Northwest may be seeing more clouds, and they may have even seen a scattered shower or two, but those highs today were in the mid-70s to low 80s. Now, tonight it'll be partly to mostly cloudy across much of the state. Now, there'll be some chances of scattered showers. Most of that will be in the center to the west part of the state, but there is still a chance in the east. And we'll see lows anywhere from the upper 40s to the upper 50s. And tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies will greet us across much of the state, and we'll still see those chances for scattered showers, though a very isolated chance, and those highs will be in the low to mid-70s. Taking a look at the affiliate weather map for you for tomorrow, Cherokee looking at mostly cloudy skies, an isolated shower in 71. Shenandoah might start the day with an isolated shower, then becoming more sunny and a high of 75. Des Moines, cloudy skies, slight chance of rain, 74. Same in Waterloo and Albia. Again, just mostly cloudy, slight chances of showers in 74. Clinton looking to be partly sunny. Not really much of a chance for a scattered shower, but don't rule anything out. And we'll see a high there around 73 degrees. For more detailed forecasts in your area, tune into your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been our Ag Weather Outlook. And with that, we're at the end of today's show. Don't forget all our content's online at iowaagnet.com. You can also get our free market podcast delivered through Google, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and Podbean. Follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon on YouTube, and you'll get notified every time we put out a video project. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Mark Magnuson and Riley Smith, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.